Hi, it's Norman here. Are you ready for today's Bible story? Let's pick up where we left off. Okay, God had rescued the Israelites from Egypt, and they escaped into the wilderness. God was leading them to a very special place called the Promised Land. Moses sent spies into the Promised Land to see what it was like. But what did they find? Let's watch and find out.
God told Moses, "Send men to scout out the land of Canaan I am giving to the Israelites." Moses said to the men, "Be courageous." Moses sent them just as God commanded. Moses had a lot of questions he wanted answered. Is the land good or bad? Are the cities they live in camps or forts? Is the land fertile or unproductive? Are there trees in it or not? So the men went and scouted out the land. They traveled around the land for 40 days. When they were in the valley, they cut down a cluster of grapes and carried it on a pole. Then they went back to Moses, Aaron, and the Israelites community. They reported to Moses, "We went into the land where you sent us. Indeed, it is flowing with milk and honey. However, the people in the land are strong, and the cities they live in are large and fortified. We saw groups of people living in the land and along the sea." Caleb, one of the spies sent to scout out the land, said, "We must go up and take possession of the land. We can certainly conquer it with God's help." The other men disagreed. "We can't go up against the people. They are stronger than we are. We look like grasshoppers compared to them." All of the Israelites started crying, and they cried all night. They thought Moses and Aaron had brought them to Canaan to die. They said, "Let's appoint a new leader and go back to Egypt." Joshua and Caleb, who were among those who scouted out the land, tore their clothes and said to the Israelite community, "The land we passed through and explored is extremely good land. If the Lord is pleased with us, He will give it to us. Don't be afraid of the people living in the land. God is with us." God asked Moses, "How long will these people not trust me?" God wanted to destroy all the people, but Moses said, "Please pardon the wrongdoing of the people. I know you are great, faithful, and loving." God replied, "Since you have asked, I will forgive them. But none of them who despise me will live to see the promised land of Canaan." Since Caleb and Joshua had followed God completely, God decided to let them enter the promised land. Out of all the spies who went to scout out the land, all of them died except for Joshua and Caleb. Even though Joshua was not perfect, he lived a life of obedience to God. Joshua was faithful and was going to lead the people into the promised land. His accomplishments point to Christ's finished work on the cross, defeating Satan, setting people free from sin, and making a way into the promised land of eternity.
Sin has a price, but God forgives when people seek forgiveness. The Israelites were scared when they heard the spies' report. They cried and did not trust God. God wanted to destroy them, but Moses asked for forgiveness instead. God forgave, but because only Joshua and Caleb trusted God, only they would be allowed to enter the promised land. I'll see you later.